I told you it was going to be exciting, and he brings it very much alive, and I certainly agree with most of his sentiments, particularly the comments that showed how the Bahamas influenced the world. These are facts, and I totally agree with Dr. Curry when he spoke to the contributions by Garvey, but we will also know that Garvey was mentored by Dr. Robert Love, who was a Bahamian. Significant. It wasn't by no chance that he came here. He knew that the Bahamas was in the forefront. You'll also know of names like James Weldon Johnson and Rosamond Johnson, who were the sons of Helen Lewis Dillard Johnson. And you would know those names for the prolific writings of the brothers, God's Creation and Amen Corner and God's Trombone and Lift Every Voice and Sing. These were all Bahamians who impacted the world. And Dr. Curry would also tell us about Elijah Morris, who commandeered a ship, the Creole Affair, and sailed it to the Bahamas in the 1840s, because they knew if they got to the Bahamas, they could be free after 1807. Yes, sir. These are important facts for us to know our history. Because if we know our history, no one could come talk foolishness around our head. We impacted the world. Sidney Poitier, the first black man to win an Oscar in America. Mentioned Albert Williams, who really was the forerunner for all of the comedians that you know. Red Skelton, Johnny Carson, Richard Pryor, Red Skelton, Albert Williams, Bahamian. And we could go on and on. So thank you so much. I should have told you to please write your questions down, because we're going to have a question and answer period after the next presenter. But just some housekeeping: a white Honda Civic is parked in the building across the street, is blocking someone. You need to move your car, please. License plate number AF7388. Please move your car. Someone is blocked in and they need to get out. Our next presenter is truly an amazing young man. He, like many of us, have grown up. He always tell me, you know, he used to be a barefoot boy in Athens. He didn't know anything about New Providence, and all he knew was he had this dignity about him, that no one was better than he was. And coming to Nassau, with just an all-age school education, he had the audacity to take the exam and go on to become a manager at some of our wonderful hotels, when black young men like him was not allowed in these hotels. He said he wanted a job, so he went and asked for a job. Got the job. At the Montague. You all remember the Montague, right? They tear that one down. But he went on to university in South Florida, Florida International University. He didn't know any better, because it was a majority white university, some thousands of students. And he thought he should be president of the Student Association. He ran, and he won. Came home, got his master's degree, came home, got a job, as I said, at Montague. And then he decided he wanted to study law. He had no money, he said. He went to study law in London, got his law degree, came home, started to practice his law, and he decided he wanted to represent workers. That was a big mistake, because workers ain't got no money to pay you. So what he figured out, he has to win all his cases. If you win the case, the worker don't have to pay you, the other side have to pay you. And 99.9% of the time when he represented the workers who couldn't afford to pay, he won the cases, and he got paid from the other side, mostly the employers. But he also did something else. Went to the Privy Council. representing workers. Now, if you know, when you go to Privy Council, I've never been there, but I am told that you normally will secure the services of the Queen's Counsel in London, or some other Queen's Counsel to represent your case. But this same young Bahamian decided he can represent his own case, and had the Queen's Counsel carrying his brief, along with his lovely wife. The only two you know who went. But no other Bahamian that I know of, I dare say, no other Caribbean attorney that I know of, I could be wrong, has been to the Privy Council, represented himself, and won both cases. So he's 2-0 at the Privy Council level. But yet, we don't see the wisdom in giving him a QC in the Bahamas. I personally took the letter to one of the former prime ministers. Still ain't got no QC. But I see some people got QC and never been to Privy Council and won no case. I ain't gonna call no name. But if you challenge me, I will. But the bottom line is, this young man is truly remarkable. The people's person. I made one big mistake in my life when I followed him into going into the politics. He had me to run in an area called Delaport. I got the worst beat. I'll tell you a funny story. My older daughter, who at the time was about 14 years old, came, said she's going to go in the counting room with me as they were counting the ballots. I ran, telling you laughing, but this is on record. I ran against Floyd Watkins and Neville Wisdom. So they started counting the ballots. Wisdom. 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 Watkins. 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 My daughter touched me and said, Daddy, when they can call your name? Say, baby, that's the luck of the draw, that's politics. Anyway, my good friend, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President, Commonwealth of Bahamas Trade Union Congress, President of the Bahamas Hotel Association, Managerial Association, Mr. Obie Ferguson.
Protocol has been established. You gotta forgive me, my voice is pretty much gone. But you know what? Dr. Morris called you. When Dr. Morris called you, you have no choice. But you have to adhere to his order. But Dr. Curry, I was terribly impressed with the historical background that you gave. Clarity with which you presented and the honesty with which you presented. I think that document should be made available in your book to all Bahamians. Because as Bahamians, we need to understand who we are, how we get where we are, and what we need to continue to move forward. I'm going to deal with the period from 1942 to 1958 because I tend to consider that to be the bedrock of the trade union movement, certainly for the purpose of this presentation. Many attempts were made to organize the unions prior to 1942, but there were no success in the organization of the movement. The Watton Salt came the closest to it. but for a short period, it existed and it died. And I'm pleased to report to you today that we have established a trade union in Inagua, presently in existence, servicing the workers at Nassau. If you forgive me for not dealing with the specifics of my report, I want to deal with some things that I find vexing and disturbing. Labor has not, the workers of this country have not been given the recognition that they deserve. And if we don't be careful, we will become a thing of the past. If you notice, when there's business events, business seminars, very rare you will see a trade union leader on that platform. I heard one the other night advertising, if you want to do this, this is what you do. But no provision is made for working people. No country can survive without the people. There ain't no Bahamas without us. You heard what Dr. Curry said? All of his references brought you right back to the Bahamas of history. We have moved away from that. I watched the march yesterday. The president of Cabbage Beach was arrested under the PLP. The FNM demonstrated, and I was a part of that. But yesterday, I saw Cabbage Beach people with the PLP. I saw not one free national movement recognized person on that move. Where are we going? The people spinning on the island, you know, we have a thing called spinning top. That is precisely what we do. 120 persons in this whole riot was prosecuted in the Supreme Court. 128. 114 was convicted. 4 were killed. And yesterday is supposed to be an indication of majority. Petty, selfish, conceited, you name it. That is the reason why the Bahamas is pretty much gone. Tomorrow morning, 3 murders. Intellectual element to debate and discuss and differ, gone. So what did? When they saw how many people got killed, prosecuted, convicted, not the PLP, the working people caused labor legislation be brought in line with standards. The Labor Department is as a result of the working people. PLP was formed, as Dr. Curry said, in 1953. The riot is in 1942. Strike is in 1958. Holy smoke. How could somebody come to the Bahamian public and the workers of this country and the Bahamian people and give the impression that the women's suffrage came anything other than to a great extent from the labor movement. 1962, Mistress Cooper was the first Bahamian that registered to vote as a woman. But they tell us a bunch of garbage, and they repeat it on ZNS, and we believe it. The Outer Islands should be represented in the House of Assembly by residents. Where that came from? That came from the labor movement, not from the FNM or UBP or the PLP. That is from you, the people. Permanent officers in the civil service should not be part of politics. That came as a result of the labor movement, not no FNM or no PLP, whatever the organization is called. That the imposition of a fair system of income tax and debt duties should be thoroughly considered by the legislature with a view of replacing the burden of taxation on the shoulders of those who best able to bear it. That was not the FNM or the PLP or the UBP definitely didn't support that. We didn't go with income tax. We went with, what do you call it? VAT. That's what we went with. So the little man can't afford it. We deviated from what we intended to do. If I'm making plenty of money, my tax should be different from yours. That's what it's supposed to be. That's not the case. National insurance is a ceiling. If I make $300,000, I make the same as you, probably doing $600,000. The land should be reserved for Bahamian for cultivation, and that no such land should be allowed to be sold to relatives without approval of the government and subject to such conditions as might be laid down. Our land now is gone. You can't find no land now. And your children, in another 20 years from now, they're going to be paying some serious rent. But what we do, we play politics with our lives, our children, and after the election, the phone is changed, and you can't reach them without water. As the Outer Island in the past has been treated as poor relations, government should introduce as soon as possible a realistic and imaginative development plan, and last but not least, they must make sure that every citizen participates. This is not the politicians. This is the Bahamian people. Because remember what I said, PLP was formed in 1953. We talked about 42. When the Bahamian people and Sir Randolph Fox was so clever, he didn't only try to get labor trade unions out. Every Bahamian, you had to be a part of no union. The union, the non-aligned workers all participated, and you saw they did it with pride. White shirt, black pants, brothers wearing tie. Now the day was not. Fellow naked on the road, the woman naked on the road, and dancing from Windsor Park down to the thing. That's what I'm saying. Where we are the people, where are we going? Every 5 years you say we don't like this one, we put the other one in, and we move on. On the 13th of April 1958, Lennox Bird, Colonial Secretary. This is now all because of what happened, you know. That a labor department is to be established immediately as a matter of urgency. So the labor department is not by the Free National Movement or the PLP. That is as a result of the workers, the labor. That's the reason why you have a labor department. So don't give nobody credit for that. Give yourself credit for that. It's you who did that. That company vote will be established may be abolished, sorry, and plural vote to be limited to 2. That's because of no political party. I know I hear it all the time. I heard it yesterday. How could you give me something I do not deserve? That can't stand. One man, one vote. Where that came from? The workers of this country, the working people. Labor laws, in keeping with modern thought, had to be enacted. Because remember, the 3 of us in the 40s got together. That was a criminal offense. We can do what we're doing here now. 3, maybe 2. We had a combination act. That's what they call it. We couldn't do it. We'd be arrested. And you know who disciplined us? The justice of the peace and our employers. They were the ones who whipped us, take us in the barn, I call it, in the island, and drop some licks on you. That's why that's the reason why Pompey did what he did. Dr. Curry made reference to that. Every male of 21 years of age will be permitted to vote regardless of property qualifications. I know nothing. Master Kelly was there, a little boy. I didn't know anything about white and black. I born and grew up in a community where white and black was not an issue to me. I never seen nobody. So when I came here to Nassau, I wanted a job. It didn't make a difference. I didn't know nothing of nothing. I know there was nobody in the front desk at the time. I put on my clothes and I went to my house and I said, sir, I'm looking for a job. I was the first black person they hired on the front desk along with Elizabeth Taylor. I think Elizabeth Taylor, it was Bahamas at the time. They put in the back. But I was in front. I didn't know the difference. It didn't make a difference to me. So when I went to university, there's 20,000 students at Florida National University. I said, well, you better give us a shot. I gave it a shot. I didn't worry, but I got with the white, the black, the pink, the green, everybody. I thought go out for it. And I won the election out of 20,000 students by 5 votes. And I became the president of that student body, and I am the only black president from that time to this day. My budget was $500,000 as president, I needed because I had the money. And now I went there the other day. The president's budget is $5 million. I said I should leave my job and go back. So, Labor, there should be 4 additional seats in the House of Assembly for New Providence, raising it to a total of 29, from 29 to 33. That happened from Labor. These are conditions that were set by Labor, the working people. But I hear everybody around town was leading the Bahamian public, particularly the younger generation, and telling them what they've done. That's not so. The Hotel and Agricultural Workers would have the right to form and join a union. That's the first time they were given the right to do it. Hotel Workers Union and agricultural workers. Who did that? The PLP in its constitution, paragraph 6, says we are committed to the development of workers, trade unions. You saw what Allison did, the Attorney General. 600 Bahamians. She granted a nully. But when your son committed a crime, or your daughter committed a crime, go and see if you can get any nully. See, I have it right here. It's a nully. It means you can't indefinitely. That's the country we have now developed into. to Randall Falk, to Clifford Darwin, to Lyndon Finley, Oscar Johnson, Milo Butler. That's what they would have gone, they would have taken you to the clinic. But look where we are today. The power of the people put her there. They exercise their right to join a union of their choice, Section 24(1) of the Constitution. The same power. She took that power, she goes to the magistrate court, and she got a nullity against the criminal offense. Means if we continue to do what we're doing, we will be outside looking in. The introduction of old age pension. Old age pension had nothing to do with the PLB, nor the FNM. It came as a result of the workers. People, God have mercy. The 1958 strike, that was one of the conditions. Old age pension. The right to sue your employer. The right. See, if you come to me now as a lawyer and you ask me to sue your employer for breach of contract, I can do that. But you know where it came from? That came from the 1958 strike. And you had some strong people in our system. Mr. Brennan, Alvin R. Brennan, I'm cutting my feet short. This red gave me a limit. He wanted to say things. I'm only picking out those areas that I think I hear every day, and that's misleading to the human public. R. Brennan, Mr. Randall tried to get Labor Day public holiday. This is what he said, and I quote, Mr. Speaker, I wonder if any other country has a holiday on Labor Day. The name alone implies that that day should be a day of work and not a day of rest. I could understand a holiday to mark the birthday of a member of the royal family. But Mr. Speaker, as for a holiday for labor, I cannot support this bill since we have enough holiday already. End of quote. That's the kind of harvest we understood right now. You see to recognize the Heroes Day. You see the big issue? You see Majority Rule Day? This is the day